Welcome to Tropicana Atlantic City. So we are in the North Tower of the Tropicana in Atlantic City. Now we are in a king room. My mom is actually a couple doors down in like a 2-queen room, but I'm gonna have to take away some of the sort of movie magic for you for a second. We normally like to show you guys a very quote unquote virgin room, a room that we haven't touched yet, that we can walk in and say, here's what we're experiencing. That said, we are part of Caesar's Air promotions. There will be a separate video talking about my experience with Caesar's Air, but we got here a lot later than we planned on. So we've actually already slept in this room for 2 nights. So more on that to follow, but we couldn't get room service yesterday morning as well, so we had to wait till today to film. So I really apologize. We're gonna do our best to make this seem like as much of like a new room as possible, but just bear in mind we have already slept in this room for 2 nights. Anyway, let's continue with the room tour. So right as you walk in, you've got this closet area, which is actually pretty roomy. You've got the safe here as well, which is great. There's, you know, a lot of space in there for, you know, if you got big winnings, you're, you know, got lots of money with you. A lot of space in here. As mentioned, you are in a king room here, which is in the, sort of on the corner. So it is a little bit more spacious than what you maybe expect. Like I noticed with my mom's room was a little bit less so, but yeah, it's very spacious here. Obviously king size bed. Don't expect to receive 6 pillows like we have. Like I said, we were supposed to get room service yesterday. I didn't realize you had to actually call to get them to come and like do the room and everything. So we'll get into that later on, but we called yesterday to say, can you at least bring us some, you know, fresh towels, fresh this, fresh that. For some reason they brought us a bunch of extra pillows and things. So we have 6 pillows in the bed. So yeah, as I said, don't expect to have 6 pillows. You do have this sort of nightstand here with your drawer, your light, your phone, etc. The bed is pretty comfortable. As I said, we've already slept on this bed for 2 nights, so unfortunately I can't give you guys sort of a fresh perspective, but we have slept on this bed for 2 nights already, and it actually was not too bad. But again, I will give you my final thoughts a little bit later. This is just going to serve as like a bit of a room tour of this room. Let's continue on. There is this sitting area here, which I'll be honest with you, we have not used. I mean, I threw my clothes on there the first night because we got here a little bit late. Our flight was delayed by like, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours or so by the time we got here. Anyway, again, we will get into all of that later, but I just more or less just threw my clothes on there. We have not sat on these chairs, but it's good to have, you know, a little extra space just to sit on, just to chill. The blinds are closed right now. The view actually is gorgeous. I will show you a shot of our daytime view because our nighttime view is actually pretty bad. We're on the 8th floor, and for some reason we have the spotlights shining right into our room. And our windows are pretty dirty, so we actually can't really see much of anything at night because you got the light shining sort of directly into this dirty window, so you can't actually see anything. But the daytime views are beautiful. You can see obviously the Atlantic Ocean, you can see a bit of the boardwalk, you can see a little bit of like valleys further down. It's actually a really nice view. I love the view here. It's very peaceful. I love being by the water. I love the ocean. It's really nice. But yeah, nighttime views, not so good. This area here is pretty good. You've got your little work area here, so if you are here doing a little bit of work, or you know, you've got some stuff to do while you're in Atlantic City, you can set yourself up here pretty comfortably. I would actually not mind working here if I had my, you know, my laptop and whatnot. You got your little desk. Quite comfortable, quite convenient. Don't mind that actually. The TV is decent. Some of the channels are a little bit wonky, but again, you know, how much you're in your room when you're in Atlantic City? You're probably on the boardwalk, probably in the casinos, maybe doing a bit of shopping over at the Tanger outlets. Like, you're not probably in the room all that much, so it's not so bad. You do have this little coffee machine here. Not my favorite style coffee machine. I do prefer something like a Tassimo, an espresso, a Keurig, something you can just put in sort of a coffee pot in. I find the ones where you have to actually put the water in, you know, some people tell me I'm too picky by, you know, saying I don't really like these coffee machines. That's just a personal preference. I find these ones aren't always clean the best. Sorry, we have some fatalities here. I find these ones aren't always clean the best. So, I mean, I can see some residue in the water sort of area here that I can see has not been cleaned as well as it probably should have been. So that's my only reason when I say I don't love these style coffee machines. So it's not just me being picky. This is just sort of something I've noticed throughout my travels. So that's why it's not my favorite, but it is nice that they have them. Obviously, they've got a couple options. You got your French roast coffee. They usually have a decaf as well. You got all your things you need. So yeah, nice to have. You have some storage here. Again, you're gonna see some weird stuff in here because when they came to the room to, well, not clean it, but just to give us some extra, what they call amenities, they gave us some sheets, they gave us some extra toilet paper, some tissues, things like that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was not about to start making this bed up, so we just threw everything in there. Fortunately enough, they did clean the room today, so yeah, I will show you all this, rest of the stuff later. You do have a mini fridge, which is super convenient. I love that because if you have leftovers, if you're dining in places like Carmine's, for example, where you have those huge portions of the Tropicana, it's nice to have that mini fridge there that you can throw your sort of extras into, your leftovers. If you brought a bottle of wine with you or something like that, it's nice to have that. Ours in particular does not have any of like the racks in there, so fortunately, like if you have like a bottle or whatever, it's probably not going to stay where it should, but it's still nice to have. I do appreciate they did include the mini fridge, so that's kudos to the Tropicana for doing that. Let's check out the bathroom. On your way to the bathroom, you do have a full-length mirror, so you're heading out to Atlantic City, you're going off to the boardwalk, you're going to a show, a club, whatever. It's nice to get that last look at yourself before you head out, make sure that everything looks all right. It's nice. This sliding barn door, if I'm honest, I understand from a styling perspective, from a spatial perspective, that it doesn't take up a lot of space because you don't have to worry about a door opening and closing. That said, there's not a whole lot of privacy. I mean, it is a glass door, so you can see a little bit if you're right up close. If you're further away, it's not so bad, but there does not leave much to be desired in the way of privacy. If someone is, say, using the toilet or in the shower, you can hear everything, let's put it that way. In terms of the actual bathroom itself though, decent sized vanity. I mean, it's nothing huge, but it does the job. You got like your Jose Bear toiletries, your facial soaps, your shampoo, conditioner, the usual stuff. I do find this stuff tends to be in more of like the mid-tier Caesars properties. So like for example, in Vegas, like in Paris, when we were here last time in Atlantic City back in October, we had these same toiletries back in Harris as well. So yeah, you will see these in sort of like the mid-tier range places. So it's okay. In terms of cleanliness, I will say, when we first checked into the room a couple nights ago, there were a lot of little black curly hairs on the floor, on the sink, in the shower. Now, I don't want to assume what body part or body region that came from, but I hate to say it, one can only assume where it probably came from. So I was a little bit kind of grossed out about that, just knowing that, that the room probably wasn't as clean as it probably should have been. But anyway, just something to note, the cleanliness of the room was, yeah. This shower is actually not bad. So I do like a glass shower door. You know me, I'm not a huge fan of shower curtains. I did appreciate the shower, sort of glass main door. It was clean enough. Like I mentioned, there were a couple of hairs, but whatever, it's fine. There was a little bench area, so if you are the person who maybe does need a little bit of rest, if you're walking on the boardwalk all day, maybe you want to just sit down and relax. I really actually like the shower, the fact that you can change the setting. So I had it on the steam shower setting and it was a great setting. I will say it did take a while to heat up though. The warm water does take a bit of time to kind of kick in. So otherwise, the shower though, I can't really complain, does the job. I will also mention while we're in here, I usually like to say these types of things at the end of the video, but because we've already been in the room for a couple nights, I'm just gonna throw these out there for you. This toilet is very vocal. It has so much that we can just be like lying in bed, and then like out of nowhere, all of a sudden it just starts kicking off and making all kinds of really loud noises. So again, just something to know. So as mentioned, we did check into the room 2 nights ago. Again, we got here late. We are flying through a Caesars Air promotion, which I didn't actually know anything about. So I'm really, really excited about that. Really excited that we actually got to come here. Last time we were here, if you've been following the channel, we stayed at Harrah's in sort of like the Bay Area. I'm glad to be on the boardwalk. I have some extra things I do want to share with you guys, sort of like how we got here, a couple little tidbits to share about places we've eaten, things we've checked out since we've been here. This video is just going to serve as a room tour of this particular room. A couple little tidbits of the things we checked out. There will be a separate video showing our experience through Caesars there, as well as a couple other things that we got up to in Atlantic City. That said, this is our last night here. We are going to go downstairs and play for a little bit before we have to unfortunately pack and get ready to leave tomorrow morning. Stay tuned though for my final thoughts, in which I'll give you kind of a bit of a rundown of all of our experiences and maybe some little tips and tricks for things for you to look out for. Talk to you in a bit. Okay, so let's talk Tropicana Atlantic City. So this is kind of like a funny situation for us. Like I said in the beginning of this video, we did come here through Caesars Air. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll see that we actually drove here a few months ago, like back in October, November for us. Drove here from Toronto to Atlantic City, took over 9 hours, etc., etc. We stayed at Harrah's, which is, I think they call it the Bay Area, the Marina area, whatever the case is. So there's 3 casinos over there: Harrah's, Golden Nugget, Borgata. I actually really liked Harrah's, but what I didn't like was that we were not on the boardwalk. So I said to Cody, next time we go to Atlantic City, we gotta stay on the boardwalk. So this time around, we decided to book at the Tropicana. The Tropicana has a lot of cool things going for it. It's got a lot of pluses and a lot of things that I think I could say maybe could use a little bit of improvement. So let's start off with, I guess, the pluses. The location's pretty cool. I mean, I think this is only my second time in Atlantic City, right? So bear that in mind that, I'm going based on my experience and what I'm kind of learning along the way. I do feel like you are sort of at the one end of the boardwalk. I always want to say strip, so I apologize. I'm a Vegas regular, so I always want to say strip, but I'd say boardwalk. So you are sort of one end of the boardwalk. I would say Caesars is probably fairly central. So if you are looking for something more central, that's probably where you want to be, is like maybe where Caesars is. Tropicana is sort of more one end, and I would say Ocean is kind of the other end, and sort of anything in between would be considered more central. As I said, Caesars probably being the more central of all of them. That said, people do say that staying at Caesars, the disadvantage is there's not as many places to eat as there are in the Tropicana, for example. There's a lot of places here to eat. We didn't take full advantage of that. We took some advantage of that, but we didn't take full advantage of that. For example, last night we did eat at P.F. Chang's in the quarter area. We were a little disappointed. I gotta be honest, I'm not the biggest Chinese food fan, and I mean, I'm talking like Americanized Chinese food. I find a lot of times when they try to recreate a lot of the dishes, it's very bland, depending on what you get. So I wasn't the biggest fan. We had a couple apps there. We had some not dynamite shrimp, but that type of thing, like a spicier shrimp, which wasn't too bad. We had some crab rangoon type thing, which wasn't too bad either. But I had some like Buddha, I don't know, I want to say saute, but it wasn't saute. Some kind of a Buddha broccoli dish that was not very good. Cody had some noodles that were good, but yeah, not my favorite. Tonight we ate at Carmine's, which, if you've been following the channel for a while, we ate there in Atlantis, and again, was not my favorite. I'm not a huge fan of Americanized Italian food either, so I find Carmine's to be kind of in that realm. So, we basically went there for happy hour, just got a bunch of the appetizers, and we all kind of split and stuff. It was okay. I mean, it was okay. There was a couple things that were standouts, there were a couple things that were kind of like meh. The mussels were okay, very garlicky. That dip was not so great. I think that's the one thing that we didn't finish, but everything else got finished. The eggplant, the calamari, the garlic bread. We ordered pretty much everything from the happy hour menu except for the oysters. But everything else was, yeah, okay, I guess. But like I said, there's plenty of places here to eat if you are looking for something. I was a bit disappointed because we kind of came here at a funny time. We came here Saturday and we leave tomorrow, which is going to be a Tuesday. So we were looking forward to going to Il Verdi, for example, for their happy hour. We've heard nothing but good things. and we really wanted to go there tonight to get their happy hour menu. Unfortunately, we got there and it was closed, so was a bit bummed about that, but it is what it is. That's why we made things work and ended up at Carmine's. I will say, if you are looking for like a video on like the happy hours at Tropicana, or the restaurants at Tropicana, or just places in general to eat in Tropicana, I will strongly suggest you check out Jennifer Sparks Savoy's channel. She has so many great Atlantic City videos. I mean, for me, like I said, this is only my second time here, so I don't have a whole lot to go on. I have a few videos, just my experiences at like Harrah's, for example, at the Hook, at a couple restaurants here and there. But for the most part, I will strongly recommend checking out Jennifer Sparks Savoy. She's got tons and tons of Atlantic City content, so yeah, go and check her out. Make sure you subscribe. She's got so much stuff for you guys to check out. We talked about the location, we talked about the, I guess, restaurants, eating options. Let's talk about the room. The room is okay. I mean, we are in the North Tower, as I mentioned, so we've got a great view of the boardwalk, of the beach, of the ocean during the day. At nighttime, because we're on the 8th floor, we have the lights from like, I guess like the deck area, the pool area, shining right into our window. Our windows are filthy. We can't see anything, so it's basically just dirty window with like this greeny light kind of shining into our window. It's kind of a bummer, because it would be nice to kind of see all the lights of the boardwalk and whatnot, to see we saw in my mom's room, she's sort of down the hall from us, that we could see a little bit of like the moon shining on the ocean, which is really nice. But for the most part, we can't really see a lot at night. But as I said, during the day, I will show some footage. Great views. It kind of helped me kind of figure out what to wear during the day. For example, I'm like, do I need a jacket today? Let's check out what people are doing out in the boardwalk. And then you see people just walking their dogs, people hand feeding squirrels and stuff. It's just a very different vibe here. And yeah, it was good to see that, but it was good to sort of know, like, okay, what do I need to wear today? Do I need a jacket, or can I just get away with my sweater? Another thing I will say, I did mention this in my last video in Atlantic City, that I can't help but compare to Las Vegas, because I go to Vegas a lot. It's only my second time in Atlantic City, so I do, it's a casino town, it's a tourist town. Like, I can't help but kind of compare to what I know. So, that being like Vegas, Niagara Falls, places like that. So I will say a couple things in terms of the signage and directions and things like that. We did have a harder time finding our way around at times. Like, okay, Tropicana is huge, I will admit. there's how many towers? You get the Chelsea Tower, the North Tower, the West Tower, this tower, there's a lot going on here. So we did find at times, okay, like, signage for your tower, fine, but stupid things like, we're trying to get an Uber, so we don't know where to go. There's no signs. Like, if you go to Vegas, any resort you go to will have a ride share sign somewhere to say, okay, ride shares this way, ride shares that way. Like, so you tend to know where to go when you need to pick up an Uber, a Lyft, whatever. Here, it's not so easy. You do need to ask. You gotta ask security guards, you gotta ask people, and quite often they don't always know exactly where to tell you to go, basically. That said, there are a few travel options. So we did actually end up taking the jitney one night, which someone went on the jitney, told us off, because there was 4 of us, and she basically told us that we shouldn't have been on the jitney, we should have just taken a cab, because apparently for the jitney it's $2.50 each, wherever you're going, and apparently a cab is max $13 per cab, up to 4 people. And then obviously Uber is kind of just all over the map. So we did actually find that Uber ended up being a little bit more expensive, and probably should have just ended up taking cabs, because for the most part we were just going from casino to casino. Also, you should note that there is a free shuttle that takes you between all the Caesars properties, whether you're going from Caesars to Harrah's to Tropicana. Yeah, definitely take advantage of that. It's probably going to save you a bit of time and money. I will also mention, timing is everything. We happen to be here apparently on a weekend with a cheer competition, a dance competition, so it was busy this weekend. Even something as easy as just trying to get the elevator down to the casino from the 8th floor. We were with somebody who, wasn't as easy for them to take, like a lot of stairs, things like that. So we did have to wait for the elevators, and found that we were waiting for a long time. A little hack, maybe some of you guys already know this, that if you've got the elevator, pressed to go down, you will probably get every elevator that's already full. So a little hack, as I said, probably you know this already, press the elevator button to go up. Because if the elevator is already going up to the highest floor, it'll pick you up along the way. Yes, you maybe need to take a few, floors down, but at least you're on the elevator. You don't have to get off until you get to your destination. So I will recommend that if you, are waiting forever and every elevator that passes you by is full, take the elevator up, press the button to go up, take it up if you have to, and then just work your way back down again. At least it gets you down there at some point. Another thing I will mention that I did sort of allude to during the video is with the housekeeping. And the thing is, I actually had forgotten about this because we did experience this at Harris as well, that if you need housekeeping, you need to call. And I didn't know this. So I always like to show you guys a clean room as soon as I walk in. This is my first impression, and that's going to be your first impression. Unfortunate thing is, through Caesar's Air, there were a few hiccups getting here. I will, get into that in a separate video, so make sure you're subscribed, stay tuned for that. We got here a lot later than we planned on being here. So we got to the room. I would love to just on a room tour right then and there, but we were tired. We were kind of just like feeling blah, and I said, let's save this for tomorrow. The next day happened. We left the room. We were out all day, came back literally like late at night, and our room had not been touched. So I called. They said that you need to call for service. They will not do any housekeeping unless you call. So I said, okay, well, can you send somebody now? Well, you need to call before 4 p.m. So, okay. So I said, can you then give me housekeeping for tomorrow? Their response was, no, you have to call tomorrow. Okay. So they said, do you need us to send any amenities up? Towels, soaps, shampoo, things like that. So I said, sure, if you can just send us some stuff just for the time being, I guess. And then, we'll call for service for tomorrow. Did they not bring us just about everything? So I don't know how many shampoos, soaps. We got like a huge stack of towels. They came back with a stack of sheets and pillowcases for us. And they came back with pillows for us as well. We've got about like 6 or 8 pillows on the bed right now. Like, wait, excessive. And not being funny, like, I'm not here to be changing a bed. Like, I just put the sheets and stuff in the cupboard here because I'm not about to like be fighting with a king size bed to be changing the sheets and stuff. So anyway, that's there for somebody else to deal with. But fortunately enough, we did call and this morning, and they did make up the room. So that's why I was able to show you guys a somewhat fresh room. Not exactly as fresh as I would like you to sort of see it. And I really do try to give you my first impressions coming into a room. But unfortunately, I was not able to do that this time around. And a couple of picky points, just because, some of you guys out there think I'm too picky and too harsh when it comes to these room tours. Just bear in mind that, like, when I tell you guys these things, it's not because I'm here to complain and, be mean or anything like that. I'm just giving you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, I'm not saying this is a bad room. I'm not saying it's a bad experience, but you guys are watching this video because hopefully you sort of know my style. You know that I am going to give it to you, completely honest. And that means good, bad, and ugly. For the most part, we have had a pretty good experience at Tropicana, but of course I am here to point out some of the things just for you to be aware of. And, that being, the cleanliness of the room was, I will say it was a little bit better than when we were here for Harrah's. We had no cigarette butts in here. This is a non-smoking room, but yeah, no cigarette butts, which is nice. Even behind the TV, I see nothing back there. So it does look like they actually did clean it, or, fortunately enough, people have kept it clean. The bathroom, though, there was quite a few hairs around, little dark curly ones that were, around the toilet, in the bath, sort of the shower area, on the sink. So that was kind of gross. I would have liked that to have been a little bit cleaner, but again, just something to note. And then even outside of our door, there was a box that one of our neighbors had left out in the hallway that was there for pretty much an entire day. But even our door itself, I was leaving our room yesterday, I think, or the day before, one of the two, and there was a bug on our door that I don't know what a cockroach looks like. I'm sorry, but I don't know what a cockroach looks like. Anyway, there was something on our door that was a bug that had like little antennas. So I'd like to think it wasn't a cockroach. I'd like to think it was just some kind of beetle or something that just happened to find his way into the casino and wanted to test his luck somehow. But anyway, I flicked him off our door. Don't know where he ended up. Hopefully not here anywhere. But yeah, just something just to mention. All in all though, like I really, again, you've heard me mention a few picky points because that's just, you know, the nature of my videos, and I do like to give it to you guys from, you know, all different sort of perspectives and angles. For the most part though, I am somebody who doesn't always sleep the best when I travel, and I've slept pretty well here. I've managed to get myself pretty comfortable in that bed and slept pretty well. You know, my work-wise gets me up pretty early when I'm in Toronto, so there's been a few times when I have woken up, but I've still managed to get myself back to sleep. That thermometer, or thermostat, sorry, gets this room really cold. If you're like me and like sleeping in a cold room, that will get you in a cold room. Like my feet, to the point where like I'm like, no, this is too much. Like my feet are cold and I'm, you know, way too cold. Like it's a cold room and I like it, but yeah, just something to know. I like the fact that they have a mini fridge. I like the fact that they included a coffee machine, which we didn't actually use yet, but maybe tomorrow morning I'll make myself a, you know, quick coffee or something. But it is nice when they do include this. Like I said, you know, it's not my favorite. Some Hamilton Beach, you know, little coffee machine. I prefer personally, like, you know, those little like pod ones. I know they're the best for the environment, but I do prefer that. I find them to be a little more clean, especially, you know, when it comes to the water and stuff. But anyway, that's just me. But they do have that. So if you want to make yourself a quick cup of coffee in the morning, you have that option. I will say the room is a little bit confusing. You do need to pay attention. It's sort of like a bit of a maze. Like there's a lot of different twists and turns in this particular tower, in the North Tower. This is my only experience at Tropicana in Atlantic City, so I don't know if all the towers are like this, but I did find that you really do need to pay attention to the signs, know your room number, and make sure that you follow the arrows to get you there, because like you sort of get to one end of the hall, you can go left or right, then you get to another and then left or right. Like it's just a lot of like twists and turns and stuff. So fortunately I had like Cody with me to help me navigate, especially times when you're sort of like, yeah, anyway, we found the room eventually. But is this spot right for you? I would say what Tropicana brings to the table is a lot of dining options. It brings options all over the map. You know, if you want something quick, you can go downstairs, find, you know, the taco place. You can find, you know, one of the quick eats places down there just to grab a burger. You know, you got Hooters, you got Hash House A Go. You got a lot of sort of the places that you're not going to spend a fortune, but you can, you know, have a good meal. You do have some of the higher end restaurants. You've got Il Verdi, which, you know, also, like I said, has a great happy hour, which unfortunately we did miss. You've got a sushi place there. You've got the Quarter there, which has, you know, a bunch of dining options. Palm, Carmine, PF Chang's, Cuba Libre, I think. Just a few, you know, great dining options in there. A lot of options, a lot of places to go. It's the kind of place that if you really do want to just stay on campus when you travel, you could basically just stay here the entire time without leaving if you don't want to. See, me personally, I'm not that person. When I go somewhere, I want to explore. I want to go here, there, and everywhere. But if you are the type of person that may be here for work and you just want to have a, you know, your room, get situated, go downstairs, grab a meal, you know, when you need to, go back to your room, not really have to leave the vicinity. I guess especially if the weather's bad, you maybe don't want to leave, then this is actually probably a great property for that, because you've got a few things to do. You've got the, you know, casino if you want to do a little bit of gambling. You've got a couple of nightclubs, you got boogie nights, you got a couple other places like that. You can have some fun. Yeah, I'd say it's just an all-around well-rounded property. Would I come here again? Yeah, I probably would actually. Based on this and Harrah's, I think that I prefer being on the boardwalk, like I mentioned, because you literally walk outside and you're right on basically the boardwalk, and then you're right on the beach. So I love that. Harrah's had its charms, and I will leave a link down below. So if you do want to learn more about our experience at Harrah's, I will leave that down there as well. So make sure you go check that video out as well. But to me, Tropicana, being on the boardwalk was, you know, just a great experience. I do want to check out like Caesars, for example, or Hard Rock or Ocean, or, you know, trying staying at one of those places maybe in the future. But I will say my experience at Tropicana has been pretty good. Like it's a very big property. It's a little bit overwhelming when you first get here, but you just sort of need to kind of just like take a breath and just kind of figure out, you know, where you are, where you need to be, etc. Like the signage could be a little bit better, but again, like, you know, if you need help, you can always ask, or, you know, just try and take a gamble and figure it out for yourself. Anyway, this has been kind of like a bit of a funny video, just because, like I mentioned, It's not my usual way of trying to showcase a property to you. Like I said, like I really do try to show you guys a place with a fresh set of eyes, a fresh perspective, and kind of show you the room as I'm sort of experiencing it for myself. I didn't get to do that this time around, but that's okay. At least you guys got to still see a fresh room. We did make sure that the room was cleaned and tidied up and everything for you guys for this particular video. And again, this is just going to be a video just for basically a room tour, a bit of a property tour, a bit of an experience at Tropicana as a whole. If you are looking here for more Atlantic City videos, I do have a Atlantic City playlist, so make sure you check that out. You can see a room tour and experience at Harrah's. We've got a review of Super Frico, the Hook, and Horsefly Bar, going there for a meal. There will be another video experience for Super Frico and the Hook for their brunch and matinee special, as well as our experience with Caesar's Air. If you guys are looking for any other Atlantic City content that I don't have, I would strongly recommend you check out Jennifer Sparks Savoy. Her channel is fantastic. I will leave a link down below. Make sure you subscribe to her. Make sure you check out some of her videos. I found them really helpful personally. I hope to meet her, next time we're in Atlantic City and do a collaboration, whether we're here or in Vegas or wherever our paths may cross. If I've missed anything, you guys have any additional questions, please do not hesitate to leave them below. It's really helpful for other travelers as they probably have the same questions as you guys do. It's also really helpful for me because any interactions you have with my videos, whether you're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, it all helps with the algorithm. Please also consider liking this video. Please also consider subscribing to the channel. It's totally free for you and it really helps me keep delivering this free content to you. Once again, this has been Daniel with Spotlight. Viva Atlantic City, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. So this is future Daniel checking in with you. This is why I should leave my reviews right to the bitter end, because unfortunately after we did our review last night, we realized we had no hot water and woke up this morning, we got to check out today and still no hot water. So anyway, we did call down. It's not just our room. It seems like it's an issue that they are dealing with here at Tropicana. They gave us a $50 resort credit, which, okay, that's nice of them, but no hot showers today, unfortunately. So sorry to whoever's sitting next to me on the plane.